Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. Today we're going to be carrying on with the exceptional story, The Path of Blood and Smoke. And we're currently walking our way down the Ravenglass Road. The road's black mirror crawls before you, and soon the hunched resting place of the dagger is consumed once more by Ravenglass teeth. The emissary is an inconstant travelling companion. At times his focus on the road and his goal is so total that he barely spares a glance in your direction. At other times he appears to remember your presence, slowing his pace and allowing a pleasant smile to cross his face. Even in these moments, though, his hurry is evident in the anxious movements of his hands, in how he paces a few steps ahead before stopping short to allow you to catch up. We can observe our companion, or we can talk to him. I believe we talked to him in the last episode. Let me just double check. Well, there are a few new things here. We can bring up the matter of the white flint dagger we picked up. It was afforded pride of place in the temple upon the road. Let's ask him about it. The emissary's hand goes into his robe instinctively. A vein throbs in his neck. Does he have the blade in his palm, even now? The instruments of the priest-kings were afforded extraordinary power. They touched everything with their red sciences of hunger and want. When his hand reappears from beneath his robe, the banded white blade is there too. This is not simply a weapon. It is a key to open a lock we will encounter later. Interesting. Okay, well, let's return our focus to the road and observe our companion. This stretch of Ravenglass is smooth, less treacherous. You have time to consider the emissary without worry for your skin. The emissary's black robes meet the black glass of the road almost seamlessly. The man above melds into a smoky reflection beneath until you cannot be certain where one transitions into the other, gliding over the razor-sharp rocks without worry. Somewhere within those ink-black robes hides the knife, moon-white and thirsty as a desert. It tugs at your fear like a magnet. In the corner of your eye you think you see smoke. When you turn your head, it's just another glitter of Ravenglass and its dark, coiling reflection. The land here brims with spite. The emissary turns his head in your direction, and you do not need to see his eyes to know he is looking at you. His smile shows his sharp, white teeth. Be careful. This place is hungry. In his upside-down reflection, the smile is not nearly so kind. How much do you really know about him? All these reflections breed paranoia. We can observe the reflections of the road. Ravenglass is sometimes used as a mirror for those with macabre or occult sensibilities. Let's have a look. Light seeps across the surface of the glass with the rainbowed edges of an oil spill. Reflections shift in exposed facets and the rippling mirrors of flat, sheared-away plains. In the road beneath, your features are obscured, the landscape occluded, as if you are viewing the world through a cloud of choking smoke. One of the open cuts on your palm beads and wells. A single drop of blood falls upon the Ravenglass Road. You bloom in the abysm glass like lifeblood in water. A cloud of rust and death. Shapes curl in the smoke. Giants of vapor fill the sky beneath. This is not there. This is not now. But your life is like a tether, a vein, a chain, reaching towards a place where 3 dying gods sit huddled around their hungers, stroking them, feeding them. Arctic explorers keeping the killing cold at bay. We can fall deeper into the glass. One of them watches you through the glass's black terminus, and his hunger, his need, is a whirlpool. You are nothing but blood and tide, draped in the skin of a spotted cat, mazed with tattoos and scars, lips drawn back in a snarl of naked predation. His fellows growl in long, dead tongue. He is colossal. A moon in the black glass sky, asteroid-fanged and hungry as gravity. Clawed hands reach for the glass. Thin wisps of crimson leak from around your coil. Tendrils of blood smoke drawn towards the inhalation of his need, and not yet. Hands on an arm that you did not have before. Something pressed to your palm. A wound, staunched. A body, yours, dragged from its knees where it had fallen on the Ravenglass Road. The Lace-Wrapped Emissary is at your ear, supporting your weight as he hauls you away from where you had fallen with strength that belies his frame. Be careful with your blood, he warns. The priest kings designed this place. With them, everything was done in service to hunger. Do not let them taste you. The feast gods of the place of fright. The mottled man roars, the heavens crack. Ahead, the night-black crevasse of the road widens and deepens into a series of quarry-like pits. The emissary holds up a finger. "Be careful here," he whispers. He points into the pit, the great stepped sides of which are ringed with cavern seats. An arena. One of the old hunting places. Can I talk to him about anything new? Let's just quickly double check. Nope. Okay, let's descend into the arena. Knife planes of Ravenglass rise to the left and right. The road continues on the other side of the pit. There's only one way through. The space is gladiatorial, cavernous, hewn directly from the colossal vein of Ravenglass into steeped arenas of rough-hewn seating. Shadows pull at the circumference, disguising the openings where pit-eyed tunnels branch underground toward holding cells and unseen warrens. We should move through here quickly. The emissary, usually so composed, looks around nervously, checking and double-checking the darkness. There is a skitter to your left, the noise of something approaching from a side tunnel. Seems we best be on our guard. Eyes flash in the black. Dark shapes prowl over darker glass. A growl like the thrum of a Carnot generator. A blinding snarl. A black wind of blades. Muscles ripple and lips draw back. A jaguar. Fleet and strong and leaping straight towards you. So we can either snatch a look at the beast. What is this black streak of fury? Our monstrous anatomy only gives us a 50% chance of success. Or we can fight back. The beast is upon you. Its hot breath like fire upon your skin. A giant muscled threat of tooth and claw. It is fight back or die. I'm already wearing my hard-wearing gear, which should boost my dangerous, and it's only a 73% chance. Should we spend a hard-earned lesson here? Let's see. Oh, we succeeded. Time shatters into fragments. Later, you will recall only moments, and the order in which they occurred will be a forgotten secret. Stink of meat on the jaguar's breath. The night sky glimmer of the raven glass at your feet, the claws that curl like fishhooks from a footpad flexed for flensing. In the reflections that coil within the glass, you see yourself as towering, a war leader, the skin of your enemy draped around your shoulders, mantling its strength as your own. A voice not your own crows to have its teeth around the neck of your assailant. When chronology returns to its proper function, the jaguar is dead on the ground, the white flint dagger buried in its flank, its pommel half secured in the emissary's trembling hand. Not, I think, that you needed the help. His wan smile is unconvincing. So we succeeded, but this place thirsts and you provide. The priest's ascendant of the hunger and the blade. The iron tang of blood. Land shudders in delight. The emissary's visible skin is pale. His breath judders, his chest heaving erratically beneath his black robe. I'm fine, he pants. Just a moment. The arena curves around you, all sharpness and empty seating. We can either inspect the arena's scattered bones. They litter the packed earth, loose, piled high into cairns, formally and carelessly thrown aside. Or we can investigate the blood. The ravenglass walls are stained the matte brown black of rust. Even after all these years, let's look at the bones. They are human bones, undoubtedly. Even so bleached and cracked and time-worn, the shapes that hide beneath human skin are familiar. Many still bear the remains of earthly riches. Rings hang loosely around yellowing phalanges, and pendants dangle into the empty hollows of ribs. Whoever these people were, they were not poor. This is jade and cinnabar and hammered gold here, earplugs and torques bearing the likeness of third city deities. The emissary kneels to take a band of jade beads, running them between gloved fingers. Some say that the priest kings feared betrayal and slaughtered those they suspected before their plots could materialize. He drops the bracelet back into the dirt and wipes his robe. Others say that they were nourished by betrayal. The betrayal was the light in which they basked and grew. That to be their friend was to be only a sweeter kind of prey. Let's inspect the blood. Beneath your fingers, the dried and ancient blood flakes away, leaving your fingertips stained with rust. In the black, behind the glass, crimson coils twine themselves around your dark reflection, wrapping you in a shroud of blood smoke. Blood is bond and binding. Faces huge as moons loom behind your smoke-clouded reflection, bearing vast teeth and vaster hungers. Here in the sporting places, the house of the jaguar and the hunting grounds of the Camazots, the lessons of lifeblood are writ upon the land. Consumption is incorporation. You bleed into the mouth of an old god with a face obscured by tarry smoke. Selfhoods are sustenance. A man with a jaguar's teeth opens his mouth as wide as worlds and takes time in his fangs. Through incorporation, ascent. We best press on. Through the arena, towards where the road continues once more. With, one hopes, fewer ravenous predators. Beyond the arenas, the infrequent ruins that dot the road along its brutal course increase in size and regularity. Stucco facades crumble into the road proper. Ancient masonry flaking its stories into your path. The carvings, all black onto blue-black neathstone, and follow a singular theme: beast-headed priests eating and killing, cloaked in a dawnless dark. There is heaviness in the air, like a gathering storm. "We are approaching the end," says the emissary. He staggers slightly, clutching at his side. His black robes make judging his injuries impossible. So we can pause for a moment's rest. The emissary's ironclad composure droops. His bandages are still spotted with blood from the jaguar attack. He staggers against a rocky spur and offers an apologetic grimace. The emissary leans against the blackened trunk of a desiccated tree. The Ravenglass Road is narrow and shallow here, and some small attempts at foliage persist between the ruins that fringe its razored length. The leaves are brittle and grey, and hanging pendulously from each black-boned branch is a fruit as white as ivory, and familiarly shaped. The stories say each fruit is the skull of a hero who stood against the lords of Xibalba. The emissary is pale and obviously tired. The ritual place is not far now. Just a short moment to gather myself. Though I can offer to keep watch while the emissary rests, his short breaths and sagged posture suggests he feels the exertion of your travels more keenly than you. This will not reduce your bloodletting. I don't know how bad this is. Rest and demand the emissary keeps watch. Your own wounds match, if not exceed, the emissary's own, and if the emissary is to be believed, you will have a vital role to play in the events to come. Or we can demand the emissary keep watch but remain vigilant yourself. Let a relative stranger keep vigil over your sleeping body, a recipe for disaster. You don't want him fully rested either. Let's be kind. Let's offer to watch over him. Might be a bad idea, but who knows. The emissary's eyes, as ever, are hidden beneath his bandages, but he regards you for a long moment, mouth worked into something not quite smile or scowl. "Very kind," is all he says. The tree of skull fruit rustles and groans as he allows himself to lean his full weight against the trunk. A benevolent gesture. The teeth of the skull fruit chitter in laughter. A worthy trick, a delicious betrayal. Take your claw back from his body. Water me. Feed me. This place has not been fed for centuries. Beneath the clutching branches of the Tree of Skulls, the emissary's chest rises and falls with slow regularity. You would need to unravel his bandages to be sure, but it appears to be the breath of sleep. So I can try and take the dagger. You know where he hid it, beneath his void black robes, as if you would forget it. You want it. You need it. Or we can keep watch. The skull fruit grin in the darkness. A vein throbs in the emissary's neck. Let's just keep watch. Black robes against black bark. The emissary's exposed neck is like a beacon in this dark, ruled place. Is his vulnerability true? Or a deception? The land around you seems repulsed by trust, by community. A deep and ravenous paranoia fired into the very heart of the rock. An urge starts at the bottom of your feet, as if bubbling up from the ground, tectonic and furious. You could kill him. It is the influence of the God-Eaters, spreading like a black stain beneath the land they drew into being. Their creed is betrayal. Their belief is in power. You are getting better at telling their black wants from your own. Beneath your gaze, the lace-wrapped emissary sleeps uneasily. The fruits of the Tree of Skulls watch with empty sockets. The pause in your march feels huge, and yet nowhere close to long enough. "We don't have any more time to waste," says the emissary, struggling to his feet. "We're close now." Let's return to the road and the end of your journey. Neither of you can claim to be fully relaxed or rested, but as the emissary is wont to remind you, time is short. The Ravenglass Road narrows here, drawing to a sharp terminus. The end is in sight. You have almost reached the tip of this land's vast midnight knife. Let's just see if we can talk to the emissary about anything before we continue. We cannot. So, let's travel to the end of the road. Prophecy has brought you here. Your own 2 feet have brought you here. Before you lies a grey promontory where the Ravenglass flow narrows to a point. Its source. The future looms close. From here, events will progress quickly. The land here terminates in a grey promontory, and the Ravenglass Road ends with it, narrowing to a point just before the earth falls away into the icy sea. The air above the tip, it is difficult not to think blade. The whole jagged road in Ravenglass, wound in the land itself, shimmers with heat. Monoliths of neath stone ring the spot where the Ravenglass tapers to a point, and here, at the knife point of the tomb-colonies, is an altar. Its surface is pitted and scarred and stained an unmistakable rust black. The emissary breathes a sigh of wonder. The appointed hour, at the appointed place. Investigate the ruins. The emissary's prophecy contended that the agents of the God-Eaters should already be here. There's nobody here. Once this place might have been grand, might have seated hundreds, housed towering monoliths and been ensconced within a steeped pyramid of roof-scraping stature. But no longer. Its ancient, brutal magnificence has faded. Nobody has been here in centuries. The stains on the rock are dry and desiccated. The ruins have been ruined since before London fell. The only sign of life is the emissary, reverently circling the source of the Ravenglass, and its brute slabbed altar. Something stirs in the waters to the north. It rises from the sea, curls of black smoke coiling in the air like dark serpents. I'm just going to take a moment here to say that this sounds very much like a Cthulhu story. Oh, of cataclysmic prophecy, there is no sign. Of the agents of the priest-kings, there is no sign. There is only you, the lace-wrapped emissary, and an altar marooned at the edge of the Neath. Heat haze shimmers above the Ravenglass tip, making the altar dance in the air. Smoke curls up from the ground. All is not as you were promised. So we can either confront the emissary, suspicions bubble in your mind like magma. Where are these agents of the God-Eaters you have travelled here to thwart? Or we can ask the emissary about your next steps. You have arrived here at the right time and the right place. You've placed your trust in this man, and continue to do so. What's next? I'm gonna carry on trusting him. I have a funny feeling this is gonna end really badly for me, but I'm gonna carry on trusting him. I've come this far. Something has changed in his bearing. In the uncovered half of his face, gone is the posture of deference. The hands clasped behind the back. The small and placid smile of the diplomat. It is a change measured in minute shifts of the body, a tension between the shoulders, a relaxation of the mouth, the flexing of a palm from a shape of benediction and into something hungrier, greedier, more violent. If it helps, you never really had a choice. The lace-wrapped emissary's smirk is a bloody dagger in the smoke. From the moment we set foot upon the road, we were components of their sacred machinery. The white flint dagger glints in his hand, a bright spot in the coiling darkness. It draws the focus, cutting through the wisps of smoke, as if its edge is the herald of all that is to follow. Across from you, as if there were any doubt left, the emissary's face tells the truth. This is no prophecy, but a deception, a snare centuries in the making, a trap that the emissary has sprung, with you and him at its heart. So we can either push through the smoke, we can attempt to leave whatever brews here, it cannot be good, a bleak dream of blades and blood and altars of black glass. Or we can collar the emissary. He is responsible for your presence here. He will surely have answers. Let's see if we can get some answers. Your savage leap turns into a stumble as the black air winds around your limbs, around your waist, wraps dark fingers around your neck. Your knees scrape painfully across the black stone, shaking off the grasp of smoke. It is like wading through shallow water. Somehow the smoke fights your progress, pulls you back, turns the air to treacle. Faces in the smoke laugh at your struggle. Predators growl at your defiance. The air shudders with hungry paranoia. There is a buried and scorching heat beneath the smoke. The raven glass beneath the altar glows, an impossibly deep heat pushing ember glow up from far beneath the earth. The emissary stands there still, on the opposite side of the altar. He says nothing, but beneath the bandages and the headdress, his smirk is like a sickle. Then reality sharpens to a razor's edge. Sigils flare around the altar, burning into life between Third City inscriptions. The raven glass below your feet simmers and burns, orange-black and volcanic. The air is heavy, pressing down with the weight of storms, with the weight of a will so vast it pulls the future into its orbit. Your mind struggles, a drowning man weighed down with bricks. Your limbs do not feel under your own control. Prophecy arrives. The influence of the priest-kings settles upon your shoulders. Domination seeps out of the smoke. So, this seems bad. We can turn our expertise to the maelstrom. It is not like any working of science you've seen, and yet it can be nothing else. Consider the smoke and fire, and be careful to keep the altar between the emissary and yourself. We only have a 30% chance, and we don't have a pot of violent inks, so let's cross your fingers. The smoke, the haze, the black glass and the knife. It puts you all on edge. There is an itch, scratching at your nascent sense for reality. Law writhes and bucks like a captured serpent. The world is not as it should be. This act of the science is so perverse and ancient that it is more black than red. For a moment the vile schematic of this ancient working is laid bare, a river of raven glass. In its reflection an ancient cave, 3 voracious warrior kings huddled around its subverse mirror. The black glass a tether between 2 times through which one mind might devour another. Blood, betrayal, to create and maintain the link between 2 moments that should never touch. It is a writ. It is writ into the very ground, into the interior of the land's black mirror, which is a vein of the neath that was opened by the God-Eaters, and which pumps its glacial vigour still. The law says thus, screamed by knives and whispered by smoke, blood shall be spilled upon the glass. The only way out is through. The boundaries of the real narrow to a knife edge, a knife that you don't wield. The emissary's face is hidden beneath his headdress, but he struggles with the same choking smoke as you do. The muscles of his jaw are bunched. His copper discs glint orange with the raven glass's reflected glow. Clenched in his fist, the sacrificial dagger is mesmerizing. There are acts that are compelled now. This is a place controlled by destiny, writ into law by a contract that brought a whole city below. A place of burned earth and tunneled mirrors. Blood shall be spilled upon the raven-glass roots. The anchor shall be maintained. Our feast shall be refreshed once more. Okay, so we can fight to clear your thoughts. Smoke fills your eyes, your lungs, your very being. The altar glows in the black, the nexus of this suffocating law. What actions are permitted here? Have a look. Blood, violence, betrayal, consumption. The lessons of the priest-kings are writ in cruelty and power, and the third city suffered for their ambitions. This ancient snare is centered on you and the emissary, in this place, at this time. A local law triggered by your arrival that mandates only a single, terrible thing. Blood must be spilled, here in the altar place. The priest-kings were selfish, distrustful, hungry, ravenous above all else. They would expect an offering to fight, would delight in the betrayal, in the writhing and struggling that preceded the bloodletting. They would savour a sacrifice's unwillingness to bleed. The smoke closes in, consuming possibilities, wasting options away into nothing. This law will pare you to the bone about the fulfillment of its duty. So basically we have three options. We can attempt to disarm the emissary. Success here will wrest the white flint dagger from the emissary's hand and into your own. Failure will kill you. Great. We can attack the emissary with murderous intent. Black smoke twines between the emissary's bandages. The dagger is in his hand. He will come for you, unless you move first. Success will kill the emissary and temporarily surrender your body to the influence of the priest-kings. You will, however, survive. Failure will kill you. We can make of yourself a willing sacrifice. Rebuke the priest-king's taste for betrayal. Deliver yourself willingly unto the emissary and turn the god-eater's meal to ash in their mouth. You see, since this and this have a chance to fail, I feel I want to make myself a willing sacrifice. There's a good chance I'm going to die with any three of these, so let's ruin their meal, shall we? No! The ancient minds coiling in the black smoke realize your intent too late. Unable to comprehend that their prey might willingly lead itself to slaughter. The emissary's lunge is well underway, and you make no move to stop it, nor move out of its way, instead welcoming the blade home in your chest like a lover. The dagger pierces your sternum, so sharp is its blade that it feels like nothing at all. A single red breath, so much like any other as to be almost pleasurable. Blood blossoms in your chest, burgeoning death growing up from your heart like a sunflower. First a drop, and then a torrent. It pools on the source of the raven glass flow, and in its reflection turns to crimson smoke. Darkness closes in, the blinding smoke of a life extinguished. A death, an act inconceivable to these ancient hungers, a law fulfilled and turned on itself. The letter of this place's vile law is fulfilled, and the black, awful pressure of its enforcement drops. Your body is your own once more, bleeding onto the black rock at the northern tip of nowhere. Below you, your self-sacrifice twists the rite into something unexpected. The altar seems very far away. The rushing in your ears is very loud and very close. Somewhere on the edge of your mind, pain crests like a wave. It will crash upon you soon. Well, we have to bleed. You have very little choice in the matter. Your crimson secrets pool and puddle. The emissary kneels before you, black robes heavy with your still leaking life. No. His voice is thick and harsh. Your self-sacrifice, a stone lodged in his throat. He does not look at your body, that little house of pain to which your consciousness still clings like a limpet. His face is upturned, fearful, gazing out at the wall of black smoke that encloses you. Priest and sacrifice at the altar place. His face is slack. No, I did everything right. I did all as I was bid. He raises a hand to the bandages around his face. Slowly, shakily, he unravels his bindings. Show me. Take me. You promised I would see Zabalba. Beneath the lace, his eyes are dark sockets that leak wisps of grasping smoke. As death closes its arms around you, you have just enough time to see the emissary's face, unmasked at last, drop into atavictic rictus of pure terror. Your mind departs before the scream can leave his throat, and we have yet again found ourselves on the shores of the river. An interlude, neither one thing nor the other. You are lying in a pool of your own blood upon a black altar in the blasted north. You are sitting upon a wooden bench in a slow, dark boat. Both are true, in different ways. Your blood is hot beneath you and sticky on your back. Each breath is juddering and wet. The boat is empty, with 2 oars folded across the gunwale. Somewhere that is ashore. Hey, where's the boatman? It's making me row my own boat. Put oar to water, search for shore, distract yourself from the slow dying of elsewhere. Your blood seeps into the abysm glass. Down, 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 through the black reaches of the unreal, and into what lies beyond. The oars are heavy in your hands, and the river resists your strokes. Continue rowing. A shore rises from the river's darkness. What happened to your body? The river is silent, but for the ripple splash of the oars moving through the water. Your shoulders and back strain, a fact that seems spiteful and unfair given your current bodily situation. In the abysm glass, your blood curdles, sours, turns the right back upon itself. The priest-kings did not, could not, by their nature, predict your self-sacrifice. What should have been a tether, a link between then and now, turns to smoke between their fingers. Make landfall. Pull the boat up upon the grey shore. Pray that this slow, lonely death, like the others. Land home. Grey sand beneath your feet. Far away, a bleeding body barely yours gives up the ghost at last. This duplicity of self corrects, resolves, and you are dead, but whole. You sit bolt upright. Everything hurts, but you're alive. For now. Here we're back in our lodgings. Wonderful. And here is the epilogue. Your dreams are haunted by black mirrors and crimson clouds. The bleak residuum of your pilgrimage down the Ravenglass Road. They coil in the corners of your consciousness, stalking your sleep like a predator in the night. You are home now, and free of that dread influence. Enough is enough. Let's confront the dream. It is the only way to be rid of it for good. Dream fiercely. You see a bare cave. People huddle on the other side, in defiance of time and death. Their regalia is archaic. The skin of a spotted cat, a beaked headdress of red beads, a serpent-headed staff. They're tattooed and emancipated, clearly starving. You see black lenses, chipped from the Ravenglass over centuries. You see how they have spread their hungers across London, across the Neath, a black web of predation and nightmare. You see a break in the connection, not a severance, but an interruption. New lenses cannot be mined from the abysm glass until the link is fed once more. The black mirrored reach of the priest kings is yet wide, but ever waning, until they can snare another sacrifice upon the road. And this concludes the path of blood and smoke. And with that, I shall end this episode here. This episode's gone on a bit long. I was enjoying myself. That was fantastic. I love that. The writing was awesome. I am curious what happens if you fight. So if anyone has done that, please let me know in the comments down below how the story changes if you fight and kill the priest, or he kills you, which is probably more likely. I don't know. You might get really lucky. It would be really interesting. But either way, thank you all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more Fallen London. If this is the first one, there is a whole playlist, just hours and hours and hours of these things. They are fantastic, and I definitely encourage you to check them out. Thank you to the members of the channel. It does help me make these videos. It helps me pay for the things. And as always, I'll see you next time.